After all we have seen so far, there seems to be no compelling reason not to consecrate yourself to the Blessed Virgin. When we give Him everything, we lose nothing, but we profit a lot, stripped of our goods, living only for her, with her and in her. Even so, it is worth going over the main reasons listed by Saint Louis Marie Grignon de Montfort in his treatise, which strongly recommend his devotion to us. Let us see, in a very brief way, what Saint Louis tells us in this respect. Full consecration to Our Lady, he says, puts us entirely at the service of God and constitutes an admirable means of being faithful and persevering in virtue. In fact, everyone who has the grace to believe wants to be of Jesus Christ. However, because of our weakness and inconstancy, we often fail to fulfill our purposes and, gradually giving in to our passions and bad desires, we return to the same life of sin as we had before the conversion. In the morning we offer ourselves to God, and in the evening we ask ourselves back. We lack, then, that inner freedom, that firm resolve to surrender everything to God. But why, we might ask, is marriage such an effective way, such a useful tool for overcoming such obstacles? Here we must remember that, when sinning, Adam and Eve, created friends and family of God, came to see Him as an enemy, a fearful and aggressive figure. That is why, when hearing our footsteps in the Garden of Eden, at the time of the afternoon breeze, our first parents hid themselves from His face, in the midst of the trees in the garden, cf. Gen 3:8. Deceived by the ancient serpent, they bought a lie that the Lord, in fact, was a trickster, who well knew that on the day they ate of the forbidden fruit, their eyes would be open and they would be like gods, cf. Gen 3:5. Smeared by original sin, we too have inherited this willingness to look to God as an enemy, a liar unworthy of our faith and trust. Now, the solution that the Lord Himself found for this sad fall was to put hatred and enmity between the woman and the serpent, between her and his descendants, cf. Gen 3:15. Because she is a mother and has a very tender heart, Mary, prefigured by the old Eve, causes all resistance to fall. It attracts us to love and service. It helps us to give our whole being to God from the heart. Who would be afraid to hand over to such a good mother, full of mercy and sweetness, all her goods, family, health, money, good fame, etc.? Isn't it easier for us to get what we want or need from our Father if we first turn to our Mother? If this is so in the natural order, why should it be different in the order of grace and the needs of the Spirit? If we are afraid to give everything to God, let us give ourselves first to Mary, who, being the most humble of servants, will give herself to Jesus. She, writes St. of Montfort,
it holds nothing for you from what we offer you. Everything refers faithfully to Jesus. If we give it to her, we necessarily give it to Jesus. When we present something to Jesus, of our own initiative and supported by our capacity and disposition, Jesus examines the present, and often rejects it in view of the stains that the gift contracted from our self-love, as in the past He rejected the sacrifices of the Jews because they were full of their own will. When, however, we present something to you by the pure and virgin hands of your beloved, we take you for your weak side. He does not consider the offer we make to Him as much as His good mother who presents it to Him, does not look at the origin of the present as much as the carrier one.
Unlike Eva, who saw the forbidden fruit and took it for her own benefit, Maria looks at the blessed fruit in her womb and does not keep it to herself. Rather, give it to the Father with generosity and attachment. With what reason, therefore, we must give ourselves entirely to Our Lady. She will look at the poor and bitter fruit of our works, of our whole being, and set it, purified and embellished, to her beloved Son. To consecrate oneself entirely to Mary is to be led by her, in the easiest, shortest, most perfect and safe way, to a more intimate and profound union with our Lord to